Chapter 18. Terraza Casino, Baile, Pelea 1982. I want to get rid of the oppressing class and give the people a chance to know what real liberty means. If I can do that by giving up my life, I'll do it gladly. Pancho Villa. I don't know if I want to go to the dance, I said. You scared? Jose Luis said. In the way he knew I would say, no, I'm not. It's not that. It's, well, do we really need to go? I try to avoid going one more time. Yes, we do, Elio. Yes, we do. If we don't, they'll keep on messing with us, said Jose Luis. We had to do it. Going to the October 22nd gala dance was important. It was important because that was a way of claiming that we were not afraid. Like July 4th in the United States, October 22nd was the night where Mexicans signed off our first draft of our Mexican independence. This was a matter of honor. We had to honor this night. Tonight was the night that Jose Luis had told me that we wouldn't get in a fight, and that if we did, he would be the one fighting and not me. But who was he kidding? I didn't believe that. Every time any of us got into a fight, we, the friends, had to jump in. I wonder if that's what happened in one of the stories my history teacher used to tell us in class. Freeze the story. Yes, class, the Mexican Revolution of 1910 was a success. Pancho Villa leading the rebels in the north, and Emiliano Zapata leading the rebels in the south was the perfect team. Mr. Cadena opened his lesson. In the way he engaged our young minds, we wanted to hear more. My grandpa Navarro says that Pancho Villa was a criminal, I said. A lot of people say that, Elio, especially the people Villa was fighting. So, I'm sure, if your grandpa had a lot of money, yeah, I believe he didn't like Villa or Zapata, said the historian. So that's true. Villa took money from people. Isn't that stealing? Therefore, Villa is a thief, I said, trying to win the argument. Well, Elio, this could turn into semantics. Much like Robin Hood, Villa and Zapata were trying to take back from the rich and powerful what they had taken from the poor and give it back to the needy, the teacher said. I can explain further if you let me. I got the message, or rather, understood the piercing and reprimanding look of Mr. Cadena. He didn't like to be interrupted, especially in the middle of his well-thought-out lesson plans. Back to my story. What? What are you looking at? Said Ricardo to Jose Luis. That phrase, with the accompanying body language, was an implied challenge. Jose Luis had to oblige. Wanna do it here, mother effer? Said Jose Luis. He was in a fighting mode now. His nostrils dilated, pale face, tense muscles, fists tightened, dry cotton mouth, and his eyes fixated. Adrenaline pumping as fast as a wild running river ready to overflow. Whatever you want, said Ricardo, right before he threw a straight right, landing into Jose Luis' cheek. Jose Luis had a strong chin, though. He didn't fall. After a few moments, Ricardo was on the bottom, being pounded. When out of left field, from the screaming crowd, a kick came out and landed on Jose Luis' face. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You mother ever. I screamed and raged, right before jumping on Jorge, Ricardo's cousin. This is not your fight, Elio. This is our fight. Jorge tried to reason, walking backward while throwing a punch at my face. The hell it isn't. I sidestepped Jorge's first jab and countered it with a right hook. That did it. That started the brawl. Goris, my best friend, jumped in and started throwing punches left and right. Goris was big, fast and strong. Somebody jumped on my back, but Goris grabbed him like a gorilla grabs a chihuahua and threw him across the room. We had a good team on our side. This would be an epic fight. Everybody jumped in. It looked like one of those Western movie bar fights. There was a point where you didn't know where you were fighting until you were squaring off with the next opponent, and you got to see their face. Girls screaming, cops talking frantically on their walkie-talkies calling for backup. It looked like a tsunami of shit had just come upon us from a broken dam. People were just trying to come out of this fight clean. "There you are, you piece of shit!" screamed Mendez, rushing towards me. How was Mendez built? Well, he was tall, broad-shouldered, and in his late 20s. Me? Short, skinny, and barely 17. "Oh shit, I'm screwed," I thought, backing up and dancing around Mendez like a scared circus chimp trying to get out of a bull attack. "Wait, I don't want any more problems with you, Mendez," I said, scared as shit. "Too late, mother effer. Too late." Mendez kept on coming, connecting punches on my face and body. Suddenly, like a miracle, like an angel coming to my defense, Mendez slipped and fell. He had stepped on whatever the heck that was. Mendez was down. "That's right, you big dumb piece of crap," was the last thing Mendez heard. I had just picked up a chair and smashed it right across Mendez's back. He was out. We all ran out. Police sirens approaching fast. We ran to La Pulga's house. Freeze the story. The fight went on for what seemed an eternity. Is this what Villa and Zapata had to go through every time they engaged with the Mexican army? Did Villa back up Zapata and the other way around, I thought? "Yes, young minds," Mr. Cadenas spoke. When the Mexican army was attacking Villa in the north, Zapata would send reinforcements from the south. And when Zapata was attacked in the south, Villa would send reinforcements from the north, Mr. Cadena said. "Yes, Alex, I'll get to your question if it's related to the topic," said Mr. Cadena to Alex when he raised his hand. "My uncle said that Villa not only raided Mexico but also the United States towns. Is that true?" asked Alex. He had always been fascinated by the backbone of Pancho Villa and his daring military feats. Well, one of Villa's assaults on the U.S. was in 1916 in the town of Columbus, New Mexico, where he fought the U.S. Army's 13th Cavalry Regiment. And yes, Villa took their guns, their horses, and burned down the town, said Cadena. "I don't condone anything Villa did to civilians, Mexican or American, but war is war. Class. During a war, anything can happen. Rules of engagement go out the window when people face death. The assault on New Mexico had been a tactical move. Villa had to get the much-needed weaponry, cavalry, money, and food. He had also been attacking American companies operating in Mexico. As a political statement against the U.S. support for Porfirio Diaz, the Mexican dictator for almost 3 decades, who took power shortly after the Mexican independence from France. The U.S. foreign policy was to support parties in power, which would allow U.S. capitalist interest to do business in that country. Back to my story. Knock, knock, knock! Somebody pounded hard on La Pulga's house. Inside, Jose Luis, Goris, La Pulga, myself, and a bunch of other friends were sitting around licking our wounds from the big fight we just had been in. Barely an hour after we had run out from the brawl. "Who is it?" screamed La Pulga from inside his house. Everybody was silent, knowing that a river of crap was right outside the door, ready to drag us back in. Our enemies had found us. "We don't want any problems with you, Pulga," screamed Jorge, looking through the door. "We just want to settle this with Jose Luis and Elio. Whoever is man enough to step outside." "No, we're not coming out," whispered La Pulga, looking at us. "It's a trap. I'm sure the mother effers have a piece." "What's it gonna be, Pulga?" yelled Jorge. "If your buddies are there, tell them that this time it will be one-on-one. I promise." Hold on, Jorge. Give me a minute," said La Pulga hesitantly. "F them. Let's go out swinging," Gori said. "Oh, what the hell. Let's do this," said Jose Luis decisively, kicking the door open and squaring off. There they were, Jorge, Guajo, Mendez, and a few more on a pickup truck. The guys on the truck hadn't been at the party though. We all followed Jose Luis outside. "It's going to go down like this," Jorge said, establishing the rules of the fight. "No, Jorge, let me fight this mother effer. I've been wanting to kick his ass for the longest time," said Guajo, staring at me. "F no," said Jose Luis. "You're my size, Guajo. You and I are a good match to get this shit over with." "No, it's okay, Jose Luis. It's okay," I said, accepting the challenge, knowing, just like a sheep going to the slaughter, that I was going to take a beating, but I had a backup. I knew Goris and Jose Luis wouldn't let me down. I felt like Pancho Villa every time he fought the Mexican army or the US Army. He always knew he didn't have a chance. It always seemed like a losing battle, but he never refused to fight. It was a matter of honor. His friends and soldiers were always behind him. Villa has sworn ever since he could remember that he would fight the US in any way he could. The US administration at the time of Mexican Revolution was supporting the Mexican dictator, even when Porfirio Diaz had just imprisoned Francisco Madero, the legitimate elected president by the people of Mexico. "Fine, but nobody gets in the fight. It'll be just one-on-one. I swear to you, mother effers, if somebody gets in, I'll mess you up, every single of you mother effers," screamed Jose Luis. So the fight began. I hope this was the last time. Tonight anyway. It'd been a long night. Guajo was about 300 pounds, me barely 150. Guajo was at least 6'5", me about 5'9". Point is, it didn't look like a fair fight. However, like most fights I had been in, I was always lucky. My opponents either got tired too fast, they slipped and fell, or they were too slow. Whatever. I always came out only with a few scratches. But wait, except the time when I fought Tafoya. Now, that was a fight. Tafoya was a fighter. Last time Tafoya and I got in a fight, we had fought at least 5 times before that fight. We both were bleeding so much that you couldn't recognize our faces. That time, even though he broke his hand when we fell to the ground, I kept on saying, "Stop, Tafoya, your hand is broken. Stop, you win. Anybody, please stop the fight." I kept on screaming, but he wouldn't stop. Nobody would stop the fight. He had broken an arm, but he kept on coming over and over until a little old lady stepped in. "Enough, you two, enough." If she hadn't stepped in, Tafoya would have messed me up so bad, I guess really bad. But that was Tafoya's fight. Right now, I needed to worry about El Guajo. He came at me with the fury of a bull being taunted by a bullfighter.
Juan, Colorado me llaman, soy señores de Michoacán. Hasta los más salidones al mirarme muchos se van. Traigo mi cuerpo una silla que es de cuero, plata y marfil. Al ciento para que entre rendir. Que viva mi tierra Michoacán y déme charanda para brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya está aquí, montado en su cuaco en huracán. Cuando me encuentro resuelto que de frente quiera pelear, con mi pistola y machete por mi suerte yo he de ganar. Que viva mi tierra Michoacán y déme charanda para brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya se va, montado en su cuenco en huracán.